Hi, I'm Erin Underwood, and I want to show you the Creative Grids 45-degree Diamond Dimensions ruler. It's a Creative Grids ruler that makes it really special because it has the non-skid all the way around with its little circles and around the edges. It is an 8.5-inch wide ruler that's making an 8.5-inch wide diamond. You have horizontal lines that are bisecting, as well as little bisecting lines going all the way across. So you can create diamonds from any size, from 1 inch to 8.5 inches. So let me show you a little bit of how it works. Creative Grids has come up with these great storyboards. There's 4 total that complement the Diamond Dimensions ruler. And it gives you an overview of how to use the ruler. In this first example, we have a split diamond, and this was created by sewing 2 strips together and then using the vertical line in the center of the diamond placed on the seam to trim. In the same respect, here's 4 rectangles sewed together, and we're using also the vertical and the horizontal to trim around both sides to create a diamond. So when we think of diamonds, we also think of the classic Lonestar Diamond, and this was created by sewing strip sets together and then trimming on the 45-degree. When you sew them all together, you could make sure that they're even by putting the diamond on top of it. But what's really special about this ruler is there are holes drilled in all of the intersections. So at this point, you can actually put a little pencil through here and mark your 1/4-inch intersections to make your assembly much easier. Now here's a Chevron diamond. It's sort of the same technique. You're going to create strips and you're going to cut diamonds out of it, but you're also going to sew the diamonds back to their mirror image halves. So there's a half of a chevron here that's sewn to half of a chevron there to create a chevron quilt. And I'll show you more about that later. This is the diamond in a rectangle, and we can cut the lovely diamond with the ruler, but in addition you can cut the backgrounds with the ruler by using the horizontal and the vertical lines to measure and cut your backgrounds. Mark again the 1/4-inch intersections on all your corners and sew it together to make a pretty rectangle. One of the great things about this ruler is the log cabin diamond. We can actually use this ruler as a trimming tool. So you would start out making a log cabin, but instead of a square you have a diamond in the center, which you cut with your ruler, and as you add on your strips, you would trim it around. Each round you're going to add, you would trim it down to the diamond shape using the ruler. And again, you can mark your 1/4-inch intersections when it comes time to put that star together. The diamond is very versatile, including mitering corners. You can see on this example we've cut half diamonds to set things on a diagonal set. We've cut what I call fat half diamonds and skinny half diamonds by using the horizontal and vertical lines of the ruler. But in addition, we've mitered the seam at the corner so that you have a lovely turn of your border fabric going there, and that's done also by cutting the 45-degree line and then marking your 1/4-inch intersections with the holes and sewing back together for your Y seam. So here is the classic Lonestar Diamond, and the way it's created is to sew your strip sets together. This strip is 3 strips. You can do 4 to make an 8.5-inch diamond. These were cut at 2.5 inches. You would cut the segments out with the ruler with a 45-degree angle. Have your baseline of the ruler here, match your seam lines up to the horizontal seams, and trim along and cut your units out. Then you sew the units back together, but remember to mark your 1/4-inch intersections for easier sewing, and you'd sew them all back together to create the diamond. So here's the chevron. Again, we've strip pieced 3 pieces together, and we've cut them on the 45-degree angle with the ruler. Now in order to create a chevron, you have to have mirror images. So you see we have some diamonds leaning to the left and some diamonds leaning to the right. You cut your diamonds out, and then you're going to use the ruler to actually cut a 1/4-inch past the point. So I took the 1/4-inch line and I've lined it up right on the point and trimmed. This piece you can either throw it away or save it for something better. Do it again on the mirror image. Then you can also mark your 1/4-inch intersections on all of these and sew them back together to create a chevron. Now, great way to use the chevrons. This is a pattern by Elsie Campbell. It's a cut loose press pattern. So it comes together quick and easy and very affordable. She's got 4 chevrons in each diamond. And one of the great things that this ruler does is it becomes a trimming tool for that log cabin I was talking about. We're going to start out with a strip set. These strips were cut at 1.5 to finish 1 inch. We're going to cut them on the diagonal just like we did with the Lonestar. And then we're going to actually start adding rounds around it like you do with a log cabin. So here's the first one. Here's our original unit right here. We've actually added a strip and trimmed it off. If you can see, you can put the ruler on it. This is the great thing about the ruler. You can line it up, the seam lines with the ruler, and make your trim, and then you would turn it around and make the second trim on the top to finish that angle. You're going to turn the block around and add blue or whatever color to the other side, trimming the same direction. You continue adding rounds all the way around until you have a log cabin the length that you want. Now this log cabin would have one more round ideally and finish at 7.5 inches, but if it grows bigger than your ruler, which is 8.5 inches, you still have the angle that you can put into the corner even if the block extends past the ruler, and you can still trim to keep your diamond in a nice accurate angle. So, and as you can see, the quilt behind me is the same technique. The strips were actually cut at 2 inches to finish 1, so it's one of those that does outgrow the ruler, but you can still trim it with the ruler.